So when you first load into Arma Reforger, you're going to see scenarios, campaign, game master. Game master is how you build games. Air support, these are campaign missions that you guys can do. Workshop is where you're gonna have all your mods located. For console and Xbox, the limit is 50. For PlayStation, as of right now, it is 25. For PCs, unlimited. Why that matters is because, let's say you want to play, go to multiplayer. Community is modded servers, so that's as simple as it gets. People can add mods. Official is basically most of the time vanilla. So what that means is you're not going to have mods. Think of it as official DayZ versus community DayZ. Things first, there are queues to get into servers. So like Vietnam 67, there is a 50-person queue. When it's red, that means it is maxed out on the queue. So you will not be able to get into a queue until it drops down to a silver-looking thing. This guy has a 4-person queue. Now these servers are massive, so you have 128 players in them. Some servers like Flight School only has 48 because it's a flight training sim. This one has 0 players, and then you have your ping. Now when you go to a server, you can find a bunch. There's a ton of different servers. There's not just Conflict, there's Arma Life ones, there's Halo servers, there's role-playing servers, there's cartel servers, there's a plethora of different servers for you guys to enjoy. So it's not just Conflict all the time, or it's not just Russia versus NATO. Now if you go to a new server on a community, it may ask you to download the mods, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Let's say I'm going to Vietnam 67. Right here we have the mod list. Now I'm on PC, so my mods are going to download very quick, like that. If you are on console, it is going to download very slow. I would highly recommend, if you can, downloading the mods individually by going to the top right, going to mod presets, and then press mod manager. Then you have all these mods in here. Players, like I said, Xbox only has a max of 50 gigabytes. So let's say, for example, if I scroll down to OPR NA2, I believe the mod size for OPR NA2 is, let's see, cancel that. Usually it'll say it on top right, but I believe the one for OPR NA2 is about 16 gigabytes, which means out of the 50 gigabytes that you have on Xbox, 16 of it is just going to go to one server. So on console, you're very limited on how many servers you can have. Some servers are 20, some servers are 25, depending on how many mods. Now, all the mods for every single server are free. You should not be paying for any mod on any server. If you are asked to pay for mods, or to pay to get into a server, or if they ask you for payment for priority queuing, which means you get in first, like a VIP, if there's any sort of payment wall that a server asks you to do, please report them, because servers cannot ask for payments. Every mod in Arma Reforger is free. If they're asking you to pay for a mod, leave that server and report it, because it is against the terms of services. And servers like that get banned all the time. If you join a Discord for a server, take for example, Spearhead is a ultra hardcore UHC, which means ultra hardcore. There are Discords where you can donate to specific servers, and the reason people do that is because it costs a lot of money to open up your own server. I know Spearhead, I think it's $153 a month just for one. I mean, not Spearhead, OPR. So they do take donations, but servers cannot take payments directly because it against the terms of services. And OPR, they create their own mods, which is very nice, but they don't get paid for people using them. So that's why they take donations to keep the server going. So that is completely legal. You just should not be asked to pay to get into a server. Now, as far as what server you should be playing, there's a ton of different ones. Like I said, there's Halo, Cartel ones, there's Conflict ones. We have Vietnam roleplay. Spearhead is ultra hardcore, which UHC stands for. 3 PP means that this server does have third person. 1 PP means it's first person. HC means hardcore. Now there are different servers. So take for example, if I go to community, and you scroll down, let's see if I can find one. There are certain servers that aren't PvP, which means you're not going to be fighting other online people. You're just going to be fighting the in-game AI, which some people like. It's completely up to you guys. Official, there's a lot of PvE. So if you go to official, most of the time you're going to be fighting bots, which is fun. That's vanilla. It's just preference on what servers you guys enjoy. For me, I don't play PvE, but there are plenty of people out there that do. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you guys hit that like button and make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. It is eWatchEdit on TikTok or eWatch Gaming on YouTube. But thank you guys for joining in, and I hope this video helps you guys a lot. We are on War of Attrition server, so this is what it's going to look like when you first jump in. It's going to be different depending on what server you play as, but what you want to do is go ahead and press continue. On console or controller, it's going to be A on Xbox and PlayStation, etc. So you do have 2 sides to join in through. Depending on the server, you might not even have 3, but right now we're going to pick Russia. And just press yes, yes, and then you're going to see a list right here of basically all the squads you have that you're available to join. Now, sometimes you can create your own squad, but right now there's preset ones, so we're just going to join this one because it's 1 out of 12. So you're going to press A on it, and then you're going to press A again to continue. If you have a class already made, like on my right side, I do have some classes already made, and I'll show you guys how to get into that later on. But for right now, just go ahead and press continue or A, or hold A. Now, first things first, the map is kind of crazy. Have the MOB, which is typically going to be at the very top in red or blue, whatever side you're on. I know in Russia it's red. It could be on the very right. It just depends on what server that what map that server is running. Basically, the main base is what it is. These little red things right here are points that, so we have Swamp, Meteor. These are points that we have captured, and we can spawn on these. Now, this is a hardcore casual mix, so the main difference is that on ultra hardcore servers, you can only spawn on MOB. Meaning you have to drive everywhere to get to all these points, which is great. Just depends on what type of player you are. For hardcore or casual players, you can spawn on any base that you have captured, which is nice because if you want to, defend this base, you don't have to drive all the way from MOB. These right here, they look like white bookmarks. These are bases that we need to capture. So we'll go from Meteor to Trench B, and then these yellow markers that look like little puffs, these are objectives that we can't capture yet. And the reason we can't capture them is because if you see on this map, there's a line to each of these objectives, which means that we have to capture Swamp in order to capture Meteor. And then we have to capture Meteor in order to capture Matros. Same thing, once we capture Matros, we'll be able to capture Trench A, Trench C, Trench D, Airport, and then so on and so forth. But for right now, the only objective you need to focus on is the bookmark one. That's white. Literally no point in sitting over here because you can't even capture that point, which means that the enemy team can consistently spawn here, but you can. These markers that are moving, you can tell this guy is in a BTR because it says BTR A2A. That's the type of vehicle he's in. These little blue markers, you can create these by, I'll show you guys that later, but these are basically markers that your team places down to show, okay, hey, there's enemies here. And then you'll notice right here, this guy, we can actually spawn on him. He has this little down emoji. That means he has a backpack spawner, which I'll get into a little bit later. But for right now, we can spawn on him. Obviously, there's a lot more in-depth things that you can go about learning. And overall, the map system's pretty easy. So these yellow lines are going to be main roads. These little green things, right now, a lot of you guys won't be needing to do this, but these are supply runs, or supply points, which means, for example, if I hover over here, you'll see that it says 15,365 out of 21,000. That's how many supplies that you have on that point, which is a lot right now. Now, let's say that, it said 0 out of 21,000, or it may be 100 out of 21,000. If that was the case, then you wouldn't be able to spawn in with your kit or spawn in there because we don't have enough supplies to load in your kit. So people will go around like this guy, he's getting supplies at this green marker or this green marker or this one and this one. Another thing too is you can't run to the enemy MOB. So there's an enemy MOB. Right now ours is up here. Let's say theirs is down here. If theirs is right here and you try to anywhere get remotely close to this, there is a specific line. So you can't pass a specific line. If you do, you will automatically be killed because you can't run into their base and kill all their friendlies on MOB. Same thing with ours. Now, you can set up on areas outside of it. So let's say the line was this point right here. Let's say this was the friendly line, so they can't cross this, just for example. I could technically set up beneath it and put mines everywhere. So every time a friendly truck comes down, or an enemy truck comes down here and they hit a mine, they would get exploded. But we're going to spawn on MOB first so I can show you guys customization. Now, you're going to see a lot of things that look like this. These are arsenals. Basically, these are where you're going to be able to customize your character. So, first things first, we have this box right here. It is in Russian. You can press open arsenal, bacon loadout editor, and then load and save loadouts. What that means is, first things first, sorry, I got my night vision on. We're going to click open arsenal. So this right here, this is a kit maker arsenal. So basically you can make, you can put on helmets, backpacks, clothes, all that sort of stuff. Your weapons are not going to be in this one. Your weapons are going to be in this one right here that has little ammo emoji. So as you can see, we have AKs, that sort of stuff. For now, we're going to start with this one. Typically, if a server has bacon loadout editor, I would highly recommend that. It is much nicer than just using the arsenal. And what I mean by that is bacon loadout editor, you get to select your hat, go down and scroll and select whatever hat you want. So this is my drone kit. So if I want to change this hat, I can change it from the drone goggles to this, whatever, so on and so forth. Customization does get really deep. You'll see a lot of players, they get called Barbies, which means that they sit at the arsenal for a very long time customizing their character. If it's your first time, go for it, doesn't really matter. Now the essentials that you will need, regardless, and that you do want to add every single time, is go to open arsenal. You will need a map. You will also need a shovel. You also need a radio, a map, and of course, you're going to want to get, if I can find this as well, body tapes. So body tapes, as you can see, this is a hardcore server. Most hardcore servers require you to wear body tape. So if you're in Russian, you wear red or white. Ukrainian or NATO, they wear yellow or blue. And the reason is because, as you can see, there's no gamer tags because it's a hardcore server. On casual servers, there are gamer tags, but on hardcore ones, you don't see gamer tags. So the best way to see if this is your teammate is by looking at his tapes on his arms. Also, another thing too is medical tents like this. They contain essential medical items, which are, you can just press open arsenal, bandages, tourniquets, morphine, and saline. You can also just get a med kit. I always run with at least 6 bandages, 2 tourniquets, and 6 morphine injectors, and then like 2 saline solutions. Now, cool thing is, if you are on console, you will press right on D-pad. This opens up your Hot Wheel. So you can go to bandage, there's your bandage, and then you just press RT. If you're on PC, if I press 6, sorry, I can bring in my bandage. And if you don't want to do that, you can just go to your inventory by pressing right on D-pad. Or if you're on PC, I believe it's tab. Yep. On a console, you just, these little icons are selecting, what you're looking at. So you have your shirt, your plate, your pants, and then my pouches, which are where my bandages are at. Now, another essential thing is, like I said, you do want bandages, a radio, and the radios do look different depending on what side you're on. So Russian radios look very different than NATO or Ukrainian. Let's see. Another thing too is we were talking about that guy that we could spawn on earlier, and the reason we could is because he had a radio, this big radio on his back, which means he has a backpack spawner. So you can spawn on him anywhere he goes. When he dies, you lose that spawn. But yeah. Now, when you have a radio on your back, you cannot have a backpack like I do, which means you can't hold as much ammo. So that's the downside of your thing. So I just took out the AK from my weapon slot. So let's say I want to add a new weapon. Just go to Open Arsenal, or you can go to Bacon Loadout Editor, go to Primary Weapon, AK-74 and attack. You press Y to pull out your guns, or if you're on PC, just press 2 or 1. Go down here. Now you're going to need to find the ammo. Some servers have it where you can directly pull, say take ammo, but on this one it looks like we're going to have to find ammo. So we are using a rifle, these are the AKs are out, and we'll have to hover over what our weapon takes. So it takes 54539, and then you'll just find the 54539. You may be wondering, how do I save my loadout and not spawn in looking like a weirdo? You want to, every time you add something new to your kit, or you're about to go out in battle and you just made a new kit, make sure you guys go down here and press save loadout and hold X. It's X for me. On PC it's going to be different. I think it's F, and I am running controller on PC. So now I do have 4 different loadouts, and you can make as many as you want. I think it's up to 5. So my first is the AKM, which is what I have right now. This is a hardcore server, so the aiming does look a little bit weird. The second loadout is AK-74, and you can have multitudes of different weapons. And this is what I mean by save. Hey, Daddy. Whenever you don't save your kit, you spawn in looking like that guy. Now, like I said, you press Y to pull out your guns, 1 or 2 to pull out your other guns on PC. Right on D-pad to open up your inventory. This is also where you can check your injuries, what type of stuff you have. Now, as far as aiming, just LT, firings RT. Some servers allow third person. This server is first person specific because it's hardcore, so we can only play in first person. On certain servers you can play in third. Well, to open your map, you press select on console. That's how you open up your map. You see where you're at. As you can see, if I zoom in all the way pressing RT, or on PC you just move it with the scroll button, I can see where my character's at, which he's in here somewhere. I'll have to find my name. But on hardcore servers, it doesn't have like a little circle. On casual servers, it does. So there's watch edit, which is my name. So select again to close it. PC, you're going to press M right there. Shows you where our teammates are at. So we have all these red guys are attacking Trench B. Now these little gray markers like this guy, that means that guy just died. Light red like that means he's, I believe it means he's injured. One major thing, like I said earlier, make sure you guys are saving your kits, because if you don't save it, you'll spawn every time looking in like that one guy we saw earlier. So if you save it, you'll spawn in with your cool looking kit that you just made. Now let's go into vehicles. So first things first, you're going to see a ton of different things depending on what server you're on. This right here is a light vehicle spawn, I believe. So you just hold X to request a vehicle, and you can select a plethora of different vehicles. Now, depending on what server, you may need to rank up in order to get different vehicles. So in order to get like the Tiger with the turret on top, you may need to get to a certain rank. Now you just press A on it to spawn it in. Just press A again to spawn it again. Press RB to move it around. PC it's different. And then to close it out, hold select and Y at the same time. Now we're going to go ahead and respawn, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to get into combat, and some tips that are going to be helpful there as well. So you can just press start, respawn, and on PC you can just press escape and respawn. So every time that you die or you redeploy, you're going to have a timer, so you can't respawn immediately. So as of right now, looks like we're looking okay on Meteor. We have one teammate that got down, but we do need to attack Matros. And we do have a spawn right here from Loser King, so we'll go ahead and spawn on him. And you'll just click him. Has that little gear icon. All right, so spawning in. This is our guy. He has that radio that I showed you guys earlier, like that. Press Y to pull out our weapon, or 1 on PC to pull out our weapon in hand. At the top, you'll see friendly capturing the space. That means we are capturing the white bookmark that I showed you guys earlier. Now, whenever you're running around, sometimes your gun, like mine, and that's the enemy right there. It's a good way to show you when you get downed. So sometimes when you get down looking like this, you're still alive. You can come back to life where someone killed you. You can also run medic stuff. Our teammate just got downed right there. But we can't do anything as far as move. We're just stuck here until our character gets back up or until we die. If you don't want to wait, you can just press start and respawn. If we're badly injured, most of the time we'll just bleed out and die. There we go. We got back up. Now let's start using the bandages. So like I showed you guys earlier, to pull out your weapon wheel, it's right on D-pad, or 6 to pull out your bandage. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my hand right here. Press RT. Give you an option to press use.
Yo, friendlies over at Metro, shooting at us in the wood.
You'll hear the radio. If you want to turn off the radio, hold LB.
Alright, cross.
X. And then A again. To turn on specific radios. Mine is on right now, or off. So this guy's a radio backpack we were talking about. Now your weapon, typically in the bottom right corner, it's going to say that I am using fully automatic because it has this massive amount of bullets. Now if you want to switch it to single fire, press left on D-pad on console. I think on PC it might be G. And then to reload, use hold X or R on PC. One enemy down. Also, make sure that they are fully dead. When it says search like this, that means they're dead. If it says check injuries, it means they are alive.